Hello Australia. Since our last encounter about 1,000 land acknowledgements ago or late last year, I've been a very busy bee. But why? Our youngsters are being lured away by a kind of Pied Piper into a topsy-turvy world spun from twisted tunes of history, bogus melodies of the present, to create gloomy symphonies of the future. It's time, folks. Time to call out the Pied Piper. The healing tunes of Australia's educational woes are not yet composed. How do I know? Well, I've been up to my elbows in this educational quagmire for a hot minute. And let me tell you, decent resources are rarer than the rubbing of underarm sweat on a friend to protect him from evil spirits. Welcome to country. But I realised this a long time ago. Want to know what I've been working on? Well, give me a double wink and I'll rub my underarm sweat on you and let's dive in. Now, after a lengthy period of burning through cash to develop trials for an education platform, it has a decided new presentation focus: animations. But we're not just slapping some cute animations together here. For Uncommon Australian History, we're resurrecting long lost photos. And when I say lost, I mean probably 10 people are alive today that have actually seen them. They are as rare as Tasmanian tiger teeth. These snapshots exist in a secret library accessible only to a select few, including me. And they paint a very different picture of this supposed utopia that Aboriginal people lived in. The inspiration for these mini animations on Australian history come from Geoffrey Blainey's behemoth of a dual novel, Story of Australia's People. All 280,000 words of it. And this has been squeezed down not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times to extract a kind of elixir that can undo the Piper's trance. Piece of cake? No, that was quite difficult. Due to the escalating indoctrination our youth are facing since Blainey's books were published, true Arrow Academy lessons have required more than just a well-considered nod to Blainey's research. So I've fact-checked every expanded tidbit like a detective on a covert mission, sometimes spending a ludicrous 9 hours just to verify or dismiss a single sentence. Lazy research, not on my watch, pal. Some of the more gory stuff will cover Aboriginal on Aboriginal land dispositions and deadly conflicts, including acts of genocide. And we even pop up to the Torres Strait to cover the headhunting currency of some tribes. If we want to move in the right direction, we have to be honest where we've all come from. As we critically investigate ancient through to modern Australia, a couple of short lessons will highlight 1930s onwards communist influence and critical thinking points on how the 67 referendum had good intentions but led to very bad outcomes for Aboriginal people. To put it succinctly, postmodern academics will want to burn these lessons more than they want to burn the Australian flag. This buried history of Australia challenges the indoctrination spoon-fed to today's youth, which has become a poison-laced diet since you adults walked the school halls. Do you remember being in grade 3 and writing a persuasive essay on how to make the national anthem and Australian flag more inclusive? Welcome to 2024 public and private education. But Australian history is just the appetizer for this epic educational feast of 1,000 forbidden fruits aimed at rescuing our youth from the clutches of repetitive menus divvied out by useful idiots. While it's important to learn about communism and socialism, which will be covered, it's vital that youth learn about postmodernism. I've recruited none other than the grandmaster of postmodernism, American-Canadian Professor Stephen Hicks, to craft a unit on this mind-bending subject. Hicks, the brains behind schooling even the mighty Jordan Peterson on postmodernism, will serve up an important unit that youth need to wrap their heads around based on his book, Explaining Postmodernism, which has been translated into 20 plus languages, but we're just getting started. Next, we're diving headfirst into other big stuff, a no-holds-barred exploration of the true history of slavery, channeling the wisdom of the ages, courtesy of Thomas Sowell and his band of brainiacs. And then, of course, dun dun dun, climate change. These crucial unit topics will be the pillars of the Academy's curriculum. Each video is crafted to offer lifelong tools to counter the deceptive allure of utopian gingerbread house fantasies that are jeopardizing everything we value and the future of our youth. So here's the scoop, folks. We've got a colossal task ahead. The first animation is set to hit your screens in less than a month, and after that, we'll be releasing socialist-busting, history-making animations on a regular basis. There are 50 exceptionally well-honed scripts ready to go to animation, and more are being developed as you watch this video. Now let's talk turkey. Crafting top-notch educational content isn't cheap, my friends. And hey, I've already tossed in more money towards the project than I'd like to publicly acknowledge, and without a single woke government grant in sight. And here's something not very secret. I'm never going to get one. Too busy buying jet planes for themselves. So, if you want to see this educational extravaganza become a reality, I'm going to need some support. Pied Piper postmodernists are like a never-ending saga of trickery, passing down their tunes from one cunning fox to the next, blissfully aware that they're just adding fuel to the fire that is to one day dismantle Australia once and for all. But fret not, my friends, for we're on a noble quest to strip away the auto-tune from their catchy yet oh so misleading melodies. If we want Australia to leap forward, we need an educational toolkit for our young, curious minds. These nuggets of wisdom aren't just idle chatter, they're the secret sauce for sparking debates that can shut down a vegan's 20-minute ode to kale in a split second. Youth soak up anything that sets them apart from the grown-up crowd and unveils mysteries that even adults can't crack. They've got a nose for baloney, especially when it comes to their own roots and heritage. They're craving tales that celebrate where they came from and pump them up to be the heroes of their own story. But such non-woke versions are rarer than, well, non-woke versions of positive Australian narrative. And here I'll let you know the Academy's other most important pillar, positive Australian narratives. At the end of the day, Australia's youth need more than just facts and figures, they need champions in their corner, guiding them through the maze of life with a big old torch of wisdom. So let's roll up our sleeves, folks, and get to building that educational lighthouse for them. Leave a comment if this is a project you can get behind. If you would like to sponsor specific animations, let's talk, please. Our youth are dancing to the piper's deceitful melody, but fear not as we can together crank up the volume and drown out that sneaky serpent.